the field of machine learning and deep learning is changing pretty rapidly. It's like a lot of research, a lot of like applications in industry, and I wonder. SageMaker is part of that. There's new features that are released like pretty often, very often, as a matter of fact. And I wonder, like within an internal team, how do you decide on like what features to work on?
Traditionally, at Amazon overall, Amazon Web Services, we aggressively listen to our customers, right? So we work with customers and then essentially work backwards from what they need. And we've done that pretty successfully with different other products. If you think about what we've done with databases, or if you think about what we've done with compute with Amazon EC2, or if you think about what we've done with the Hadoop ecosystem, making Spark available on top of Amazon Elastic MapReduce, the guiding principle behind all of these products was to listen to the market, listen to customers internally and externally, and trying to find out what would customers need or what would add the most value to customers at a specific point in time. And so that's really how the roadmap is identified. 90 to 95% of the roadmap is identified by talking to customers, and that's part of my job, and understanding what they want at a certain point in time, and then bring that back to the product. We also do have some insights from working with internal customers like Alexa or like Amazon.com. So we learn a lot from their needs. And then based on those needs and combining that with our external customers' needs, we can come up with a healthy roadmap. And in the back end, SageMaker has a very, very large team. We do have engineers that are focusing on optimizing TensorFlow, for example. We do have engineers that are focusing on optimizing PyTorch. And then these folks work directly with the open source community, and they contribute back to the code base of TensorFlow or PyTorch or MXNet and all these deep learning machine learning frameworks. So there are large teams with very clear focuses, and some of them are focusing on platform and infrastructure automation, some of them are focusing on deep learning algorithms, some of them are focusing on workflow and integration. So it's a very large ecosystem of people that are aggressively listening to customers and trying to find out what to build to meet the demand.
Is there a feature among all of these that you find the most exciting right now, or maybe something you'd like to see in future?
Yeah, so if you think about the process that we just went through, I think when people talk about machine learning nowadays, one thing that we get to talk a lot about is the algorithm, the Jupyter notebooks, and then training machine learning model, but where's the data coming from? How does the data get ready for a machine learning model?
The very first step, yeah.
Right? So, and I mean, in the industry, there's this joke that goes about where they say data scientists spend 80% of their time cleaning the data and 20% of their time
modeling it, training a model, yeah.
Complaining about cleaning the data.
Complaining about
it. So the idea really is to facilitate. So one of the things that we spent a lot of energy on last year was to facilitate the process of collecting the data and then creating real features or labeled training data out of raw data, right? So if you want to create a computer vision algorithm for object detection or a sentiment analysis like a classification on text algorithm, you probably want to have an initial set of clean data that real humans have looked at. In the case of images, they would put bounding boxes around birds and then label that as birds, around cars and label that as cars. And so that ecosystem could be improved. So we did release a product at the end of last year called Amazon SageMaker Ground Truth that really helps with collecting real data, raw data sets from the real world, and creating a distributed task that goes out to either a public workforce of real humans that can help you create your features, or a private workforce of potentially your staff or people with a specialized skill set like medical doctors that would be able to recognize medical images and then annotate that accurately and really automate that entire ecosystem of targeting real people with raw data, getting their help with labeling the data, and eventually creating cleaned up labeled data for the process of machine learning. And that's really the beginning, right? Because before you start looking at the algorithms, the Jupyter Notebook, you really need to have a clean data set. So we innovated towards the end of last year, created the Amazon SageMaker Ground Truth, and that's, I mean, I'm not allowed to have a favorite, but that's one of my favorite products as part of that entire ecosystem.
So you could, as a user, like take, I don't know, your personal photos or something and then send them out to your family to label like what is their favorite thing, and then maybe try to learn like where to plan like the next best vacation or something.
Yeah, you could do that.